Al Jazeera at the White House.
Well, President Trump's upbeat comments haven't soothed fears in U.S. markets where investors are rattled by his tariff policies. Kristen Salumi explains from the New York Stock Exchange.
Markets closed in the red, giving back much of the gains from Wednesday's massive rally in response to the 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs that was enacted by the United States. The Dow closed down more than 1,000 points. The Nasdaq led the losses, down more than 4.5% on the day, more than 18% from recent record highs. The value of the dollar also down on Thursday. Bond markets more stable than they were on Wednesday, but the price of U.S. Treasuries is still higher, raising concerns that foreign investors may be pulling investments from the United States in response to these trade wars and market uncertainty. Some economic reports came out that looked positive. The jobless rate and prices in the United States remain steady for another month. But those reports don't fully account for the recent increase in tariffs. They only happened in the last week, so were not fully implemented as these reports were given, and so did not calm investors that the way forward would be any smoother. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, New York.
China has warned it will fight to the end and won't tolerate being undermined or blackmailed. The world's biggest exporter has imposed an additional 84% levies on American goods. But as Katrina Yu reports, despite the rhetoric and countermeasures, China has signaled that the door to diplomacy is open.
The trade war between Washington and Beijing is showing no signs of easing. China's 84% tariff on all U.S. imports has taken effect. The government has also announced it will reduce the number of American movies shown.
Is open.
Yo, you hear me, chat?
Between Washington and Beijing is showing no signs of easing. China's 84% tariff on all U.S. imports has taken effect. The government has also announced it will reduce the number of American movies shown.
Is open.
Yo, you hear me, chat?
Between Washington and Beijing is showing no signs of easing. China's 84% tariff on all U.S. imports has taken effect. The government has also announced it will reduce the number of American movies shown.
Is open.
Yo, you hear me, chat?
Between Washington and Beijing is showing no signs of easing. China's 84%
Is open.
Yo, you hear me, chat?
between Washington and Beijing is
Yo.
showing no signs of easing. China's 84%
Is open.
Yo, you hear me, chat?
between Washington and Beijing.
Okay.
March 2020 of that mission. Combat footage captured.
What did I want to do?
Captured by GoPro cameras, real-time command center coordination, and powerful drone strikes all come together to show how Ukrainian forces pushed through a heavily fortified enemy line and reached their objective. Russian troops had no intention of retreating. Despite constant fire, Ukrainian assault groups moved steadily through trenches and blind spots, clearing resistance one position at a time. The front line was stabilized, enemy strongholds were destroyed, and dozens of Russian soldiers were either captured or neutralized. Colonel Andriy Beletsky, commander of the 3rd Assault Brigade, described the outcome with clarity. Taking Nadia cost the enemy 2 months of effort, and 2 motorized rifle regiments completely wiped out, the 752nd and 254th of Russia's 20th Army. This was more than just a tactical gain. It was a turning point, made possible by the skill, coordination, and determination of the soldiers involved. Now, see how Nadia was reclaimed, moment by moment. March 23rd, 2025, 5:50 a.m. As the first light of dawn breaks over the horizon, Ukrainian forces launch a coordinated assault on Russian positions located near the outskirts of the town. The offensive begins with a powerful barrage from artillery units, supported by tanks, BMPs, and other armored vehicles. On the outside, tanks and BMPs release coordinated rounds across the open terrain. Inside the vehicles, soldiers stay focused as they operate firing systems through narrow hatches. Each platform is assigned a specific sector to cover, allowing for overlapping fields of fire. Communication between crews ensures that targets are engaged efficiently and with minimal delay. Soon after, MTLB armored carriers transport troops from the 1st Assault Battalion and the 2nd Mechanized Battalion directly to the front line. Upon arrival, these soldiers rapidly disembark and move into action, advancing under cover fire and engaging the enemy. Their objective is clear: push into the Russian defensive line, take over the trench systems, and repel the occupying forces from the area. The battle intensifies quickly, with Ukrainian troops maneuvering aggressively to secure a foothold and break the momentum of the enemy. According to prior tactical planning on the map, the deployment of Ukrainian units continues. Meanwhile, Fire from armored vehicles helps cover the soldiers as they move into position. However, an unexpected issue arises. An armored vehicle from the 1st Assault Battalion breaks down before reaching its designated target area. The crew initiates an emergency evacuation, quickly abandoning the vehicle and taking cover in a nearby wooded area. To prevent a potential enemy strike from the rear, the soldiers deploy multispectral smoke. This specialized smoke conceals them from visual detection, as well as from thermal imaging and infrared surveillance systems, offering a crucial layer of protection during the retreat. Under the cover of fire from their own armored units, the soldiers attempted to reach their positions without alerting the Russian forces that something had gone wrong. However, detection by enemy drones was only a matter of time. On their way, they neutralized any Russian troops who crossed their path. Every movement had to be calculated, every step taken with extreme caution. Communication was limited, and situational awareness became their most valuable asset. Meanwhile, the command center, working off real-time intelligence, was guiding them back to their positions as safely as possible. And then, the inevitable happened. Russian forces spotted the movement on the ground and immediately responded with artillery fire and FPV drone strikes in an attempt to stop the advancing Ukrainian troops. Time became a critical factor. The soldiers needed to move quickly to avoid being pinned down. At that moment, a Russian drone was seen closing in on their location, posing an immediate threat to their already vulnerable position. Just when they thought they had evaded the drone, they found themselves face to face with Russian troops once again. In that moment, courage alone wasn't enough. They needed precise tactical movement and a revised strategy to survive. Total elimination was a real possibility. Guided by reconnaissance drones, they responded with hand grenades, clearing the path ahead. Moving from trench to trench, they continued their push, cutting through enemy positions one by one. Preparations for deploying reinforcement units are underway at full speed. The command structure is fully aware of the gravity of the situation. Final tactical instructions are being given to the teams heading out. They're ready to move. The objective is to reach a flank position near the embattled troops. Once contact is established, the soldiers already in position will make a coordinated sprint across the open area to link up with the reinforcements. Together, they'll push to secure the remaining strongpoints and complete the encirclement. At last, the reinforcements make their way onto the battlefield. As they advance, armored vehicles provide covering fire, targeting enemy positions to suppress any resistance. The troops begin methodically clearing the trenches, moving from one fortified point to the next with calculated precision. When the order for the flanking sprint is finally given, the units move swiftly. Overhead, reconnaissance drones follow their trajectory closely, feeding real-time intelligence to ensure they avoid ambushes and stay on course. Every movement is coordinated, every second matters.
That's crazy though. That's actually crazy.
A Russian machine gun was delivering sustained suppressive fire, making it difficult for Ukrainian troops to advance.
That's crazy.
The origin of the fire remained undetected, prompting systematic scans of trenches and dug-in positions. After a thorough sweep, the machine gun nest was identified, concealed deep within a fortified trench system. FPV drone operators quickly engaged the target with a precision strike.
Yeah, you're going crazy.
Once the initial hit disrupted the enemy's firing position, assault units advanced on foot, cleared the trench, and neutralized the Russian gunner along with supporting personnel. After clearing the trench, Ukrainian soldiers take a moment to rest in the position they secured. While regrouping, they inspect the personal belongings of a neutralized Russian soldier, hoping to gather useful intelligence. Among the items, they find a diploma issued by the Russian Federation, a certificate of secondary vocational education. Once the brief examination is complete, the soldiers begin scanning the surrounding area and assess their own casualties, making sure no one is left behind and that the area is fully under control. Sometime later, a group of more than 4 Russian soldiers attempts to infiltrate the area recently fortified by Ukrainian forces. In response, kamikaze drones, armored vehicles, and infantry units are mobilized to contain the threat.
Damn. Just the fact that he died like that is crazy, bro.
While advancing, Ukrainian infantry spot an enemy soldier who remains hidden from the drone's view. To assist with precision targeting, the infantry are instructed to mark the location with a smoke grenade. The signal is successfully deployed, allowing drone operators to identify the enemy's exact position. A direct strike follows, targeting the marked location with high accuracy and neutralizing the threat. After 2 additional enemy soldiers are detected hiding within the trenches, drone teams are once again directed toward the area. To prevent any unintended impact on nearby Ukrainian forces, the command center promptly notifies all units in the vicinity to take defensive cover. With coordination secured, the drone operation commences. The Russian unit, affiliated with the 752nd Motorized Rifle Regiment operating in the area, was exerting its remaining strength in a final attempt to hold its position.
Chat, I don't know if I'll survive this shit.
In response,